right, in today's episode, the creators of Star-Batt. It's a portable mini Starlink that can provide internet service anywhere in the world, and it's solar powered. Let's go. Welcome to the North Idaho Experience, a podcast for the people of North Idaho and those who are North Idaho curious. Hey, these are the stories of the amazing people and businesses that call North Idaho home. If you are thinking about making North Idaho your home, give our real estate team a call, text, or email info@nidexperience.com. We've got Alex Mallory and Andrew Cole from Star-Batt. Welcome to the show, you guys. I'm pretty excited about this. They have a product here that is being made right here in North Idaho, or at least designed, and it's absolutely groundbreaking. So if you are an outdoorsy type, man, there's so many applications I don't even want to limit. I don't even want to limit this, everything.
Say it.
Preppers, sure. Outdoorsy, off-roading, whatever. If you find yourself out in difficult areas and you need internet, this is the thing for you. So stick around. This thing's wild. It's been blowing my mind. So thank you guys for coming. Appreciate having you. The crazy backstory here is that Andrew was one of my first clients when he moved. Wow, was that like 3 years ago he moved up here?
Yeah, about 3. Yeah,
oh my gosh.
A little over 3.
That's crazy. And then Dave and Alex worked together at Coeur d'Alene PD.
And is also my client.
Dude,
also the only person to call me the night before closing and say, hey, what do I do about this? And show me his microwave that he took apart into 500 pieces. I said, you buy them a new microwave. Alex?
That created a little issue.
Why would you disassembling a microwave?
This is Alex.
Okay, yeah. And maybe that's what leads you into this new thing. Okay, now it's all making sense in my mind. Okay, so I really want to talk about this product. You guys have created something amazing here. Where did this idea? Well, it came from your mind, right? Because you're the engineer in this group. Yeah, you got a background in that.
So yeah, I mean, everyone, like if you're in North Idaho or any rural area, you know about Starlink, right? It's the way we connect. I tried 3 different routes to try and get internet at my home. Starlink ended up being, we are waitlisted, ended up getting Starlink on our house, and it's the only way to go if you're in a rural area. And same thing with Alex, like ran into the similar situation. If you want to run a business out of your house or anything, Starlink is the fastest, easiest way to get internet connectivity. They then came out with the Starlink Mini dish, and that kind of snowballed into our product now.
Who owns Starlink?
Elon Musk.
I just wanted you to say that. I just wanted to hear it. Yeah.
Why does that come to mind, Dave?
I mean, it's people are political right now. I just wanted to know.
Pretty impressive product.
Interesting.
Politics aside, that's the thing. It's, people hate him for the politics, but, you can't fault the company for the amazing stuff they're doing. Rockets that are catching them, like, no one else has done that. Like, those videos are wild. It's just like, it's going to catch this thing falling from space on a platform.
That's 33 stories tall. Am I wrong? Like
and how much does
enormous,
it weigh?
Right.
They're just going to catch it, and it's going to come down to zero, like to a speed of 0 after falling at thousands of miles per hour or whatever it is, and just catch it on a platform and reuse it. No one else does that.
I watched a video of him at the inaugural speech, and somebody's secretly recording him, and just his eyes, and just he's all over the place. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, he's in another dimension right now, and he's figuring some shit out.
He's always thinking.
Yeah.
Let's talk. We get a lot of people that move up here to North Idaho, and that's the number one question they ask. They're like, hey, well, does it have good internet? And I'm like, you know what? A lot of people moved here during that time. We won't mention. And, a lot of people worked remote. So internet was really important. Mm-hmm. So what's the problem that you solve? Because internet's great with Starlink.
Yep.
But where do you come in here?
So, Starlink came out with the Starlink Mini dish, and the solution is it's super portable. The router is built in. There's not a bunch of cables. All you have to do is give it power. So they came up with half the solution of a portable, satellite dish that gives you internet anywhere, but it needed a power solution. And so Alex and I kind of, viewed it as we want to, work. We want to be able to go on hunting trips and all that stuff. And, that was a potential solution, but we needed to be able to power it. And so, you have an option of, all right, I put an adapter or an AC adapter on my car, and I got to have the car running to keep my batteries from dying. And so, also just that dish itself is fragile. It's a $600 dish. I don't want to just throw it in the bed of my truck. I don't want to, I don't want it getting broken. So, a protective case around it, as well as giving it the ability to have, what our solution has is 24 hours of battery life. I can just turn it on, and I know I have 24 hours. I can turn it on for an hour and just make a quick phone call, or check my email in the morning, and then go out on my hunt. Or I can leave it running continuously, and we made a solution for that as well. We hook up a solar panel to it, and you can run it almost pretty much indefinitely as long as you've got sun. Throw it outside of a camper, and Alex can speak to this first trip. Right after I first brought it to him, Alex went on an awesome trip. I can speak about it.
So we reconnected after not seeing each other for a few months. We went out wakeboarding just to catch up. And Andrew told me about this product that he was working on. Well, I was going through a little bit of an anxiety at the time because I had a 3-week vacation. I haven't taken a 3-week vacation since really ever.
You don't strike me as the kind of guy that does well with vacation.
Yeah.
No, and unplugging, understanding that, working remote, that my inbox is piling up. I didn't have an assistant at the time, and so it was this constant anxiety of what am I going to miss? I just need to stay connected. How am I going to make this work? And so Andrew came to me. The timing was just perfect, and I said, I want to test this out. I want to be a part of the R&D on this. And so I went to Disneyland with my family, and then I immediately went into hunting season. We went out and hunted in Nebraska for a week or two, and I was able to handle what I needed to handle while hunting in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska. Completely indefinite, completely off-grid, running the solar panel, 5 hours a day. Had that solar panel out, and it just ran. No generators. I was able to run my business, and so I was sold.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How is the internet fast enough to do most things?
It's totally dependent on what you're getting with the Starlink speeds. Yesterday I was running it while I was driving in a dead spot on 41 at 144 megabits per second. So really good download.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
That's insane. I feel like there are so many applications for this. Are you guys finding? Okay. How long has this business been up and running? First of all.
We launched the world October 1st.
Okay.
And that launch consisted of a Kickstarter campaign, which was well timed. It corresponded right around when the hurricane season hit, and the Starlink solution was really commercially adopted to help out everyone in North Carolina. And so we had a successful Kickstarter campaign, and then we moved into fulfilling those orders by setting up a manufacturing cell here in-house. And then we started pre-selling on the website for our first commercial run, which will start shipping out end of February.
Wow, that is awesome. So you not only solve the issue of just internet connectivity when you're out in the wild, but also the recharging, portable protection, all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you're literally carrying internet with you.
It's internet
wherever
football.
you go.
Yeah, and so they talk about the nuclear football for the president.
Right.
This is a network football. You have this in your trunk at any time. If you don't have the cell towers go down, anything goes down, you just pull it out, turn it on, and everyone's got internet connectivity around you. You can make phone calls. You can get on your
okay.
laptop.
So for the realtors out there that forget to update their e-key and then they go into the backcountry and they have no service and they can't open the little lockbox, now you have a solution because you've got your Star-Batt in the trunk. Update your e-key and now you're in, dude.
Yeah, that is crazy. So it really, when you're talking about it, we're going to get into cost and stuff, but just out of the gate, you buy this, it's really a one-time cost, or is there a subscription to it, or what exactly is that?
So on ours, it's the one-time cost. For Starlink, obviously, it's a subscription-based model, right? You have to pay your cell phone bill every month. Starlink is depending on the plan, if you have a home subscription, you can get the Starlink Mini for $30 a month added.
Okay.
It's not that, a huge upfront cost. The upfront cost is higher. It's a $600 dish, but then $30 a month. And if you have a roam plan with just the mini dish, outside of Starlink's home setup, it's $50 a month.
Right. So you're paying for Starlink, but you're not paying monthly subscriptions for this. This is something that you can get. And
this is just a product, standalone. Yeah.
That is so cool, man. How long do these batteries typically last? I mean, I know that you guys have only been around for a little bit, but have you looked at the batteries and the life and the shelf life and everything else for these?
That's definitely important to us, and that's also why we went with the chemistry of battery we did. And so lithium ion has a very bad name. It was, people are taking those little, I don't know, what are those little bounce things? Kids are riding them in airports, and then they were catching fire, and then they, said, all right, no more lithium ion on airplanes, or up to this, capacity. So the newest battery chemistry out there is called lithium iron phosphate, and so it's a much more stable battery chemistry, and it handles wide temperatures much better, and we can get, I think, on a 50% depth of discharge, it's like 6,500 cycles. And if you go 100% depth of discharge, it's up to like 2,000 cycles. So even if you ran it every single day, you're looking at years of usage on the same batteries.
That's super cool. Yeah, I know PD doesn't like the lithium batteries. Right
Nobody
now.
does.
Yeah, they're back to pedaling bikes.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
another story.
So Andrew, I know you have a background. Is it in mechanical engineering?
Yeah, I've got a degree, a bachelor's of science in mechanical engineering.
Okay. So did you design a lot of these components, or did you take this idea and bring it? How'd that go?
Yeah, I mean, really, the R&D was very intensive. I mean, it took me a couple months to come up with like a working prototype. I was trying to use off-the-shelf components to minimize costs up front, right? You know, we could go and, you know, make a custom circuit board and have it printed, and you're looking at, you know, probably millions of dollars in investment. So I tried to come up with a creative solution that met all of our needs, that also limited costs, right? You don't want to, you know, you're not going to try and sell this for a $10,000 product because it's all custom. You're like, you know, how do we make this as affordable as possible to the end user, and, you know, try and get it in as many hands of the people that need it. And then, like, right when we launched, you know, those hurricanes hit North Carolina, and everyone had connectivity issues, and it was
power issues.
The power grid's down, the cell towers are down, everything's down, and so we were trying to figure out how, like, you know, how do we put this in the hands of the people that need it? So it's not, you know, it's like as our it fits our personal life, but it's like also how do we do good in the world, right? You know, firefighters, search and rescue. We said 30, or we probably had over 50 into the North Carolina area, but I think 15 of them went to search and rescue groups, nonprofit groups, because they're trying to go and look for bodies, look for people, they're trying to rescue people out of, like, you know, bad areas under debris, and no one can communicate with their teams. Like, you know, you'd have to physically go and talk to someone, and then they'd go out on some, you know, mission to go try and do some recovery.
I know the evil Elon has many times during these times made internet available to everybody. Is this one of those things that if you get a dish and you don't pay that monthly bill and it's inactivated, if there's ever a national emergency, is that something that has happened with Starlink before, where they've said, hey, free internet for this area? I know they've done that over in other countries and things like that.
They did it in North
emergency
Carolina.
Situation for sure.
Yeah, they did it in North Carolina. They did it in Los Angeles with these fires. And with the Roam plan, you can pause and start it at your need.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to buy this, the Starlink Mini solution, just as a backup for those inevitable natural disasters, you can leave it inactive, not pay that subscription cost, and then activate it when needed.
Right, because, you know, we always talk about those blackouts, those big things. Oh, what if this hits? What if these things happen? What if we're out of power for a long time? People are I mean, preppers especially, right, want to know what's going on in the other parts of the world. So this is like that option that if you had something like this, granted, if there's an emergency and Starlink comes up, you have something like this, you have the ability to communicate and see what's going on in other parts of the world, right? Dude, that's wild that you can just, I'm looking at it right now. It's not even...
Throw it up on the table.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah, we're excited because we've got, you know, we're trying to be flexible as a company and be able to pivot to the needs of, there's so many different people in the world, and there's so many different needs, people and features that people want to see. So we're constantly innovating. When we're looking, we've got a lot of products in the pipeline that we will, you know, hopefully be able to diversify to all the specific needs, to first responder needs, to the prepper needs, to the hunters needs, to the real estate, you know, agents needs. You know, everyone has different needs, and so we're diving heavily into the R&D and the innovation side of our business. Like, this is just our flagship product, and it's been awesome to see the...
So for those that are listening, I mean, it's similar to a Pelican case. Open it up. Let's see. What do you got in there, Dave?
So open it up. We got Starlink on top, right?
Yep.
It's your Starlink satellite. You got your battery.
And it's really that simple.
Dude, this is, the
Starlink Mini mounts inside the lid like this. Our case is radio transparent, so it doesn't have connectivity issues through the case. You plug it in, you turn it on, and you got 24 hours of runtime. We have some ports on the outside of the case, and so if you want to run the dish outside of the battery, a reason you may do that is if you're in hot weather, the mini dish generates heat on its own. And so it has a temperature threshold of 122 degrees Fahrenheit. So if it's a hot environment, you need to get this out of the case. You can run it with our provided cord or the Starlink provided cord and just attach it on that out port right there.
Okay.
And then that in port, you can plug into a wall charger, a car charger, or our solar panel, which our solar panel can be run while the unit's on, and it can keep it running indefinitely. You just need 5 hours of sun.
Okay. So this is radio transparent. So how would you set this up? Do you actually pull that out typically, or just leave it in there?
I just like this, close this up. As long as it's pointing at the sky, you have internet, just like that.
That's crazy.
And there's no buttons to mess around with. It's just on.
There's just a single button. Yep. And what's really cool too is I didn't think that this was the case, but even though this thing weighs 27 pounds, you picked it up, it's pretty heavy.
It is.
It floats.
I was wondering about that. Okay.
We've done some really cool videos where we're, toss it in the water or something and it's kind of floating by, and it's all, it's IP65 rated. So in layman's terms, what that means is it's protected from low pressure water jets of any direction. So you could spray with a hose, rain, snow, any of that. It's not meant to be submerged, but the benefit is it also can't be, you'd have to force it to be submerged. It'll float down. If you drop it out of your boat and you're out, duck hunting on your boat, you could bring it with you, be checking your emails while, the ducks are a little slow.
This is crazy.
Check my email. If it falls out, if it gets wet, covered in mud, it protects the dish, it protects all the electronics.
Let's talk the duck hunting example. I'm a big duck hunter, and a lot of the times what limits my factor to be able to go on a good hunt when and we don't know when the birds are going to be good. We'll find out the day before. We'll scout. We'll figure out tomorrow should be a good hunt. Well, I have a pesky 3 p.m. work call or 11 a.m. work call, and for the most part, I just need to be present. And they're super simple calls, but without having connection, I can't go on that hunt. And so throwing this in the boat has enabled me to live the life I want and still connect when I need to.
That's so
Dude.
cool.
This is gnarly.
Yeah. Okay. Then the solar panel we were checking out before. That's beautiful in its own way.
That's something that we're really proud of. And actually, we haven't announced this new panel to the world. So this is our new panel. There's not a lot of great small portable options for solar panels. Even a lot of the quote unquote flexible folding solar panels are still at a pretty large footprint. And that's kind of what we used originally, and that's what we sold. And so we're actually really proud of this. We've been working with the company closely to develop something that meets the ruggedness and the power requirements we need, and making things as portable as possible.
Dude, this is freaking cool.
It's small. Unfold it, Dave. See how big it is. It's huge.
It's nuts how many. Let me get this thing open.
It's like a bra. You probably.
I was never good at that.
I know. It's a strange reference.
Wow. Holy smokes, so the whole thing opens up.
Yeah, so we can just...
How big does it get when it's fully open?
So that folds out all open. It's really rugged and waterproof.
3 by 4?
It's it's really durable.
The panels feel like rubberized almost.
Yep. It's kind of got a rubberized coating, like a nylon Corduro backing. Is
it waterproof? Like if it fell in the water, it'd be fine?
Yep. If it was rained on, if it was out on the snow or something, it'd be totally fine. It's definitely one of the things we were worried about. And then we want it to be small, right? A big panel that you're worried about people crushing or stepping on or anything like that. This meets a lot of those needs. We're almost at the finish line on this product, and so we'll be announcing it soon on Instagram and all that good stuff.
Sweet. So that you plug that into your Star-Batt, set it out. That thing will run basically indefinitely if you have sun.
Yep. We found that with that 160 watt panel, with good sun. Obviously, sometimes up here in North Idaho, there's not the best sun, so it's dependent on sun. But if you have good sun, it'll recharge the whole Star-Batt in about 5 hours, which means 5 hours of charging. It runs for 24 hours. So every, by the time the sun goes down, it'll run all night. Sun comes up the next morning, starts charging it again. You can charge your laptop, your cell phone, your Apple Watch, your electronics off of the USB output on there too.
Right.
So it's totally not just the internet football. It's also just like an off-grid generator, without having to bring the gasoline, start up the generator, ruin the noise, the peace and quiet of the outdoors. It allows you to just be at one with nature and not feel like you're bringing the whole world with you.
Dude.
Have you guys attracted the attention of anybody out there that's worth mentioning?
Yeah. One of the things we're most proud about is the exposure that we've had. And so just to name a few, Donald Trump Jr., also a little controversial.
Yeah.
All right. He reached out to us and saw the validity of the product, and so he has one in his hands right now. John Mayer, no relation, no relation there, other than he placed an order through the website. And so we have some high-level conversations going on right now with some fairly influential figures.
That's fantastic.
That is super cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can see so many uses for this. I mean, literally almost everything you think of, especially if you live in a place like North Idaho where we have lots of dead spots when you're up in the hills. I mean, absolutely huge.
Well, it's just anybody that's outdoors, anybody that that wants to be away from the city, anything like that. I mean, this applies for so many people. It's not just for hunters.
No, when we started this, we had a very small view of what our market segment could be. And we thought it could be, big just in that market segment. And then after launching the world, we were blown away by all the different industries that now want to, are interested in, having our, some of the other versions that are in our pipeline that meet their specific industry needs, either like private companies, but also NGOs, government entities, first responders, search and rescue. I mean, the list goes on and on. We've been blown away by the amount of different market segments that are possible.
Yeah.
Globally too.
And I'm sure that you guys are going to have, once people start getting invested in this, right, and they see the use and the ability to do something like this, I'm sure that you guys have, plans down the road. You made something that sounds awesome. This is 24 hours. This is something that I can use for a while. Are there plans to make something even smaller that maybe doesn't have the same battery life or anything else, but something that's a little more portable for people?
That's been a big thing. So going back to the battery chemistry, lithium, any battery with lithium is under the same umbrella and when it comes to commercial travel on airlines. Right. So just because it's a new chemistry, the regulations haven't been updated to differentiate between lithium ion and lithium iron phosphate. And so we're limited to 100 to 160 watt hours of battery capacity, and we're well above that at 576 watt hours. So our goal, that's one of the biggest feedbacks, is we'd like, from customers, they'd like to be able to commercially travel with it on airplanes. And obviously you can drive with it, you can fly privately with it, but if you're flying, to a camping trip in Colorado and from North Idaho, you can't just easily bring it. You'd have to probably, with this current version, you'd have to ship it, and pick it up at your destination, then ship it back. It's not a whole lot to ship it, but it's still inconvenient. And so we are planning on adding FAA compliant versions in the future with, removable batteries, or just a smaller, what we'd call like the light version, where it's just maybe only gets you 6 hours of battery life, but maybe that's all you need.
Am I allowed to talk about ideas on here?
Go for it.
Because, you talk about that. Like, people there's certain areas where people travel to go hunting, right?
Yep.
And they don't want to carry shit like this. So what's the opportunity to have small stores or small places where people can go rent these at outdoors facilities, right? Somebody goes and they're going to go pick up ammo and everything else, and they can go and they can rent one of these for 4 days. At a Black Sheep, at a North 40, whatever else, a Cabela's, where they can walk in and it's something that's available to them, so they don't have to pack that.
Yeah, it's a huge potential. And, Alex and I have discussed it before, if we brought it in as our own business model, like where we could, ship it someplace for someone, we orchestrate the logistics of it. They just pick it up at a UPS distributor location, UPS store, and then drop it back off with a prepaid shipping label in a box.
Right.
So that's an option. And outfitter companies, there's plenty of outfitter companies for hunters and stuff like that. You're going on a kayak trip down the Colorado River, and would you like to check this box if you'd like to add internet to your trip? It could be as simple as that. Everyone's not bringing their own kayaks to go down the Grand Canyon or the rafting trips. You just check the box, and it adds. How much value does that add to the business person that wants to go on the adventure with their kids, doesn't want to bring all their own stuff and invest in all their own camping trip or their camping essentials, and it's just super simple.
People rent stuff like that all the time, so being able to have that available would be amazing.
We've had interest from a Mexican-based boat rental company that wants to be able to add it as an add-on.
It'd be huge, yeah.
You want to take your family to the beach on the boat. They beach their boats out of that outfit, and you want internet while you're on that beach. Add this to check the box. Just an upgrade.
Dude, that's awesome.
Love it.
There's so much that you guys can do with this. This is gonna be fun.
We're such a connected world, right? It's so hard for people that work in that connected environment. That it's really hard. Like Alex said, running a business or a small business, or you're a real estate agent. Any of that stuff, you want to be able to check the emails and see if there's any fires you need to put out. Yep. And it just gives you that peace of mind that if I need it, I can make a phone call. You know?
I definitely love the emergency application too, because it's something I would love to have in my car, right? Shit goes bad, I need something, I'm out somewhere, I'm stuck, you need to communicate, anything like that. Like just having it available just in your trunk would be fantastic.
Look at LA and the fires. Who would have thought that people in one of the biggest cities in America would not have their cell phones wouldn't work for weeks on end?
Yep.
Like it's just unknown, and it's definitely, preppers sort of get a bad name for preparing for those disasters. But how many of those people now wish they had something like this, or had some food stores in their closet and some water, because they now the grocery stores are empty, or the grocery stores are just shut down because the grocery stores
burned down.
It burnt down, shut down, no power, looted, whatever it is.
Right.
There's time and time again it's shown that taking like a little bit of time and a little bit of money and kind of putting some resources away for yourself is very logical and very very smart. As you are your own first responder, it's like you need to be able to take care of yourself. And if being able to connect to the rest of the world if shit hits the fan is very important.
Yeah.
This conversation comes up a lot in entrepreneurship in North Idaho, and I think a lot of people, well, they're starting to realize, but don't realize that this area is so full of startup businesses, all across the board, right? We've had ammunition manufacturers, drone manufacturers, you guys. I mean, do you find this area's easier to start something like that, or are there difficulties associated with living where we do?
I think we live in such a connected environment now that the abilities to work remote have, exploded exponentially, and people can prioritize what's important to them. And so, like my own personal situation, I got into a position where, I was with a job at the Coeur d'Alene PD where I was certainly tied to the area. And I moved into a new position in the private world, and we were upgrading our house at that point, and so we kind of did this nationwide job search of, well, where do we want to go? I can live anywhere, and we decided we're going to stay right here. This is where we're going to plant our roots. This is aligned with our values, and so I can make my business, my career, work for me where I want to be. And I think we're seeing people prioritizing that and recognizing that family comes first, values come first, and then I'm going to make that opportunity to support my family, support the direction I want to take this.
Yeah, I like that. What challenges have you guys faced starting a business? I know we were talking about SBA loans and stuff like that. Do you want to dive into that a little bit?
Sure.
Because we have a lot of people out there that this comes up. Another question that comes up: they want to move here and they may have an idea, of a business they want to start. They just don't really know how to go about doing it.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the SBA a little bit. We're largely bootstrapped up until this point, but inventory is not cheap. And the demand, we've been blessed with the level of demand that we've experienced in only 1 quarter in business. And so in order to keep up with that demand and then also get to the point where we're shipping next day requires the purchasing of inventory. And so we decided that we were going to go the SBA route, and it's been a huge learning experience. I've never gone through funding before, and so it was just kind of a crawl, walk, run thing where we surrounded ourselves with an experienced team. We have a business coach and an advisor that helped us through the process. And we're working with our local credit union, ICCU, and we should be closing on that loan in the next 2 weeks.
That's fantastic. That's small business administration for people that don't know. Do they offer, loans that are more reasonably rates and things like that for small businesses to get going? Is that the draw?
It is the draw. The rates are kind of standard across the board. You're looking at 2 to 4 points on top of prime.
Yeah.
What's nice about an SBA loan is you don't have to fully collateralize it. You do have to exhaust your assets if it's not fully collateralized, but as long as you can show that you're in a strong financial position personally and that you have assets to support it, it doesn't have to equal the total of the loan amount. And so the bank is also entering in that risk pool, right? Obviously, starting a small business is risky. We both have a lot of risk in it as well, but the bank is also putting in some of their risk, making sure that if we were to default on it, we don't have to come up with that full number.
Yeah, okay. Where do you guys see this going in the next 5 years? Have you had time to think about that yet?
It seems like day by day, week by week, month by month, we're just, we kind of have to pinch ourselves and be like, wow, I can't believe we are where we are now. And it's like we look back a week before or a month before, and we're like, man, look how far we've come now. And so the future is very, unknown, I guess. It's I don't know if I want to say unknown, but it's, man, I think the sky's the limit. And so I think that's why we're also going to we are starting to develop heavily in the R&D section and the innovation, because this is just one product and we want to build a company that can do all kinds of power solutions. Like, Amazon is starting to launch their own satellites and to compete with Starlink. So we can come up with a battery solution for that maybe, or, the sky's the limit. And
it's been hard to define success.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know. This is a kind of a blue ocean market. This wasn't a developed space when we got into it. And so, and it's not publicly known how many mini dishes were in existence. And so we didn't really know how to define success. And so I think one of the staples of how we built this company is off of Kickstarter, which was both of our first time crowdfunding. And so the big consideration with crowdfunding is you have to set a monetary goal. And if you miss that goal by $1, you don't get anything. And it's kind of a public failure, right? And so you're soliciting, your personal network, your professional network, and you're putting a lot of eyes on this. If it doesn't reach that goal, it just is kind of a wash.
Are you guys in talks, or have you reached out, or is there any connection at all with Starlink?
We have a point of contact at Starlink.
Okay.
There's some things they can't talk about. That's funny that you asked that.
I figure I can ask.
Oh, yeah. They have reached out.
Yeah, no, and that's interesting because you have a company that Starlink is not at its end phase, right? It's still growing. It's still new. There's so much that they're going to be doing. Starlink, all those companies are going to grow so big. So when there's an application that started even as, as small as yours, if it's going to benefit them, there's a huge opportunity there. Absolutely. So, hopefully if that collaboration or anything else works out, it'd be great. Cool.
I mean, and that's one of the things that, we're almost selling Starlink mini dishes at the same time, right? If someone goes like, I didn't even know this was possible. I've seen your ads on your thing. I'm going to go buy a dish at the same time and this, because now I see the solution and the route to, my connectivity issues.
Right.
Yeah. So we've probably sold a ton of Starlink mini dishes. We have no idea.
You probably know how many you've sold because I don't think anybody just has a battery sitting in their car. So that's pretty cool. My goodness.
Can we talk about pricing?
Sure.
How's this? Okay, I guess you have different packages, right? So maybe break that down for us.
Yeah, so our Star-Batt Mini, our flagship products, MSRP is $999, so $1,000.
Okay.
Our solar panel, we haven't officially launched it. Depending on when this podcast launches, you may be able to get a sweet deal online. We're currently selling our first version of our solar panel at $199 because we haven't announced this. As soon as this is announced, which is going to ship to all of our customers, even if you purchased it at $199, you're getting a free upgrade. That's going to move to $289 MSRP. It's a significantly upgraded panel. And then our cradle mount, which allows it to be deployed on a vehicle.
We didn't show that. Yeah,
no,
we'll have to
we
get that
haven't.
out. You got that laying around?
Yeah, so this is our vehicle solution. It comes stock with magnetic feet, and so these all have 60 pounds of force. This isn't going anywhere on a magnetic surface. It fits tightly inside of that cradle.
Light.
Super light.
So you magnet that on, set the box on top, and then strap it down.
Yep.
And you said you had that on the roof of your Tesla?
Yeah, so we also we call them our sucks mounts. They're really nice industrial grade suction cups with plungers. And so I run that on the roof of my Tesla, and I don't lose service, and I'm able to maximize my windshield time.
That's crazy.
Not worrying about, am I going to drop this call? I can actually schedule my calls around my drive time.
Because we all know up here there are plenty of places where your call will drop.
Oh, for sure.
So this is, what are we selling this thing for?
That's a good question.
It's under $150.
Okay.
So for $1,500, you could have this, you could have the solar panel, you could have the whole setup, you could have everything on it.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow. Throw the mini dish in there.
That's
You're looking around
actually
at $2,000
cheaper
investment.
than I thought.
That's not bad.
No.
Yeah, and these are all one-time purchases. It's not a subscription fee.
Right.
It's not
Right.
like this is gonna last like, it's 6 months and I got to buy a new one. Like, this is a one-time purchase, and with the
God,
dish,
that seems crazy.
yeah, for $2,000 with adding that $600 mini dish, you've got a network football.
Yeah.
That you can carry anywhere you want with you.
Yeah, so I mean, so if you add the dish in there, then you're $2,000 and you have everything.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know Seth is gonna.
What? What? No, I'm just thinking, man. I'm like, I mean, military. I feel like there's so many people that are gonna be.
We've been in talks. Like
eyeballing this.
The DoDs. Some people with the government have reached out with some. I don't know if I want to talk about the different departments, but
You don't have to. It's fine. I
Yeah.
don't want to.
I'm not really sure what I should.
Yeah. Good enough.
We've sold to fire departments, we've sold to power companies, we've sold to NGOs, we've sold to lineman organizations, and so it's really proven to us. We kind of identified 3 segments when we launched this business. There's an unlimited segment.
Well, man, I can't tell you. I mean, I was a fireman down in San Bernardino County. It's 20,000 square miles. So just guess how many areas don't have cell service.
Sure.
And so even with radios, I mean, there's times we get in dead zones of radios.
yeah.
I'm like, man, I can't do shit. And you got somebody that you're hiking out, you need air support, whatever else. So having something like this would be phenomenal, especially even if there was a backpack configuration for it.
You
be able to
think
take
about-
that thing out there.
Yeah, and like wildland firefighters, right?
Right.
Hotshot teams.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're deployed in places with no cell service, no infrastructure. This is just part of your airdrop kit, where now you have your whole team can now communicate with headquarters or
Right.
FEMA response teams. Like,
Yep.
Dude, it's unlimited.
We did a demo
amazing.
with Kootenai Search and Rescue, and they see a lot of value both in their backcountry division as well as their marine division. I'm sure there's plenty of parts on all the lakes they patrol
yeah.
that they don't have service on,
Yep.
and needing to run the CAD and the computer systems rely on internet.
Right. Yeah. There were when I was a trooper, there were, like you said, dead zones for the radio. So you got no cell service, no radio, and you're like, I don't want to make a traffic stop out here. Like, what if shit goes bad? I have zero communication with anybody. Nobody knows where I'm at. So to have something like that in the patrol car where you're constantly hooked up would be huge. Mm-hmm. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Is this patented? Do you guys have you gone down that road?
We've got a provisional patent. We filed for a patent before we released it to the public in October 1st, and so we're still working with our patent attorney to file for a non-provisional utility patent, both domestically and internationally. So, it's a lengthy process, an expensive process, but it's something that's valuable to our company, and so we're definitely moving forward with it.
Yeah. Is it so? Since you have a provisional, is that cover you for now? Is that the way that works?
Yeah, so that kind of like just puts a bookmark on it where it says, hey, this is our total concept and our design and all the features we have and what we're thinking about doing and like our idea, and this is how we're planning on bringing it to fruition. And it allows you to then release to the public because if you don't do that provisional first and then just release to public, now it's public knowledge and it's no longer patentable.
Right.
So it just puts a bookmark on it. We filed for the provisional. Now we say patent pending on our products. And then once we, go down that road and finalize a patent, and if it gets approved by the patent office, then we can say patented and have a patent number.
Do you guys? Cool. How many? Can I ask how many you've sold so far? Is that?
Yeah, about 500.
Heck yeah! And you got a bunch of orders.
We do. So we're selling in batches initially, just because there's that give and take on the supply and demand. And so our first batch goes into production here at the end of February, and that batch is 350 units.
350. And. So that's commercial run. We've also been producing a bunch in my shop that you sold me.
Yeah. I remember it.
That catalyst for that was the hurricanes and the demand from all those NGOs and the power organizations that were trying to put backup power lines and stuff. And so we scaled the demand for the pre-production units, and then we're getting our contract manufacturer set up. We got to run a 350, and then if that SBA loan closes, we'll be able to then order 1,000 plus units, and then get to that next day shipping because we still need to fulfill the Kickstarter orders. That's like a part of this February run. We've promised we have a lot of outstanding orders, and we're working as fast as we can. And then a lot of people probably know how the world economics are, most batteries aren't produced in the U.S., so, we're having custom batteries made overseas in Asia, and some of the other components are as well. So there's timelines for, shipping those on ships and all the custom demands we have for our product. And so we're working as fast as we can. But so that the Kickstarter finalized on November 15th, and then that, set us up for success for everything down the road. And, this order in February is huge for us because it'll actually get all the units in the hands of the consumers that have been supporting us this whole way. And we couldn't have done it we couldn't have done it without the support of all these people. I mean, it's people have put a lot of faith in our company and our product, and we're so excited to get it in the hands of all those people that have helped us along this whole road.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love this stuff, man.
I know. I just can't get enough how North Idaho has so many cool
here's
businesses.
Here's the thing that gets me, because Mallory, I worked with him in law enforcement. I get this with people with law enforcement and fire all the time. I think we've talked about it. Is I get people that come from these careers in public safety, and I say, they're like, I wish I could get out, or I wish I could do something else, but all I know how to do is be a cop. All I know how to do is be a fireman. I'm like, no, hold on, man. I'm like, you got into a job that required a ton of attention to detail. You had to give time and energy towards it. You had to learn a complete skill. You had to have there's so many things that you had to do. Your ability to communicate with people, negotiate, all these things. These skills translate into real life. So I always love it. And Mallory's like a success story. I've talked about this before. I love seeing people be able to leave a career like that for whatever reason and go off and be successful. It is so cool, and that's just, this is rad.
It's terrifying leaving.
It is
leaving a public safety career when you have that feeling that how is this going to translate?
Right.
And people still reach out to me all the time if I would leave if I could, and the answer is you can. Those are transferable job skills. From a project management perspective, being able to see something from inception to completion, that is a very valuable skill.
Yep.
You start something at a traffic stop and it makes it its way to a jury trial, and you're responsible for that. That's a highly sought after skill. Sales and negotiation. I mean, everything you went into, it's so valued in the corporate world. You just have to know how to sell yourself, and you have to believe in yourself, and you have to take a little risk. And I think that's something that has proven true in our story is there's always going to be risk in success.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of risk doing what you guys are doing, but I mean, the way that it's turning out, like you said, I just think it's really important for you that, like you said, those people that jumped in on your Kickstarter and the people that made the orders, that's where everything takes off, is being able to get these things in their hands.
Yeah.
We've been so blessed with the amount of people that are willing to give us their hard-earned money because they believe in us and wait for their product. I mean, we wouldn't have been able to bootstrap a company without it. And we didn't know what that expectation was. We look at ourselves as consumers, like, would we be willing to do this? And maybe yes, maybe no. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody that supported us. We truly couldn't have done this without them.
Yeah. And I know we touched on, prior to recording, we were talking about building the team, and you guys are building an incredible team. And that's important to us. Like, that's something that we've been working really hard on our real estate side of laying the foundation. And it costs a lot of money up front. It costs a lot of time and energy. But when you do that, down the road, things get a lot easier, and you guys, it sounds like you're doing that as well.
Yeah, so we have a team of 12 right now, 12 highly motivated and capable individuals that we're putting in positions to grow with the company. And that's truly what I think we're the most proud of, is the fact that we've been able to get team members that are so committed, that want to grow from where they're at right now in their relevant career field to being a part of this startup. And so we've been doubling our contractors' hours month over month and bringing all of these into full-time roles. And so we recognize, we all have strengths and weaknesses, and so complementing with your team members is very important, and we have a rock star team that I'm very proud of.
Yeah, I think that's important, giving people a buy-in like that, right? You can grow with us. That's how you build loyalty and like lasting business, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't go into this with like a $5 million budget, and we're going to make a business. Like, me and Alex pulled from our savings, our retirement funds. We started out of my shop. It's just like, we have, this is like the American dream. Like, we're going to work really hard. We're going to, make a good product, and we're going to be proud of it. And we're going to do what we have to do to, make this successful for everyone, not just me and him, but our whole team, and, make it like another good thing, or another thing that is important to us, is doing good in the world, right?
Yeah.
We want to make a positive impact. We're not trying to just sell a widget that just, all right, well, if you got ADD, well, here, spin this thing around. Like, it's really cool. You sell a ton of them, but it's like, does it really do, like, what's the good, the value in the world? Like, if we could, it was important to us to, ramp up our pre-production to get them in the hands of first responder stuff in North Carolina, and then Florida, and, and then LA. It's just like, if this could save one life, it would have been totally worth it to us.
Yeah.
Like, we want to do good in the world. Yes, we're doing it so that we can make money and that we can be financially stable and have futures for our family, and also build a business where we can take trips and with our kids and spend time with our kids. And then if I need to take a phone call, I can. So it's like, it's totally holistic in sense of, everything that we want for our lives and for our families and for our futures. It's like kind of revolves around the product that we're also, trying to sell. And we're not, it's not about just making money, right? It's like, yes, that's a tool for freedom. And so Alex and I are very, that's like a center focus. Like, God and freedom are the two things that, our lives are centered around. And so God first and freedom second. And so like, this gives me the freedom to go on a road trip and stay connected, and but spend time with my family and my kid, like my kids, my wife, get out into the woods and enjoy nature, and have, not feel like we're totally stuck,
I think that's really important too, because, you come in with those values. You see these startups. I mean, just about every business started up with a passion, right? I'm sure that Walt Disney would look at Disney today and say, that's not my Disney, right? But it started with a passion. Mm-hmm. And so I think that, in your inception right now, it's really important that you guys focus on that with your 12 people and with everybody else, because one day you will not be running this business. One day somebody else will, and it very easily can become something else. So keeping those foundational principles and focusing on that, and making sure that the people that have the motivation to work with you, it isn't a different motivation, that they actually align with your values and those types of things. You all said something else. You said the American dream. This is super cool, because I'm so tired of hearing people say, oh, the American dream is dead. No, it's not. Do you know what's dead? Is hard work, okay? Values, being able to put in the time and effort and everything else, the persistency. That's what created the American dream. This is a perfect example. This is the Apple example. Macintosh, right? Starting in a garage.
No one got on a wagon and said, I'm going from New York to California because it was going to be easy.
Right.
No one said this was going to be easy. No one, left England to go to the colonies because it was going to be easy.
Right.
Half the people, I don't know what the numbers are. A lot of people died on the ships just trying to get there.
Yeah.
A lot of people died of disease when they got there. A lot of people died fighting with Indians. Like, a lot of people died on the Oregon Trail trying to get over. Like, if you avoid anything that's difficult, you're not going to succeed.
Right.
You need to embrace adversity. Put in hard work. Put in long hours. You need to devote yourself to something that you're passionate about, that you want to do, and that you like, whether or not, because you don't know, right? There's also a lot of businesses that are still, they put in hard work, they do all those things, and then you can still fail. But you've got to pick yourself up and try again and try again and try again.
Right.
Like that's what the American dream is about. That's what, like being an American and like working hard to develop, either build something, a future or whatever it is, like put in the effort, put in the work, like knuckle down.
You guys have those traits, man. And I'll tell you, when people ask me, even in real estate, they come in and go, what's your secret to getting clients? I go, hey, dude, I treat it like a job, right? I'm here from 8 to 5. Other people aren't. You guys are doing that exact same thing. It takes a lot of time. I think when you look back at your story and people ask like, man, I had good ideas. How did you guys make it? It's going to come down to the fact that you're like, I was up at 5 o'clock. It was a quick cup of coffee. And then Alex and I were working our asses off. And that's what happened.
Be totally risk adverse.
Yeah.
The more risk, the more reward. You have to not shy away from any possibility. I think a lot of people, and you talk about generationally or whatever, but there's so many people are completely risk adverse in their lives. Like, oh, I can't do that because I might, scrape my knee. It's like, I did a lot of dumb stuff. I'm sure we all did, our generation. We were out there, breaking legs and scraping knees and doing all kinds of stuff. Like, and that translates into how risk adverse you are in the future. If you try and, how I raise my kids, like, I've got to let him make mistakes. I've got to let him scrape their knees. It's like, you can't just try and remove all risk and from someone's life. Like, that's an important learning lesson. You have to be able to, invest in yourself and invest in your future and take some risks. And, if someone's like trying to move up here to North Idaho, like, yeah, I moved up here, Alex moved up here, before me, that was a risk, right? You were coming out of your comfort zone, trying to move to a new area, but it was based on our values and where we aligned with, we actually both moved from California before that, but, I moved, mid-COVID era, because I'm like, I don't agree with all this stuff going on. Like, I want to go to Freedomville. Like, I want to have, then again, back to our personal values. Like, I am very freedom focused, and I know Alex is too. And it's like, I don't need someone else to decide what I can do and what I can't do. And not to get into all the COVID stuff, but you guys all understand. I'm
Absolutely,
sure
dude. Yeah, you're preaching to the choir. And it's awesome. Two North Idaho dudes that met in church, and here we are. Look at that.
Yep. That is super cool. Man, I'm excited. I know Seth is probably going to ask you guys if he can have this one, but
no. Sell it. Sell it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
we need to get you
I'm
guys.
surprised you're not part of the Kickstarter.
We'll rock it. I didn't know about it, actually. I don't think I saw it until a couple weeks ago. I don't remember. Where I ran into you at the gym.
Yep.
And then that's when we started talking about it, and I was like, oh shit. Look at
Well,
that.
we're already talking about like, oh man, if we go buy a bunch of acres somewhere else and just go build ourselves some cabins.
Yeah.
There's not going to be internet out there, I promise.
Yeah.
Wherever that is, like this would be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally. Or our Montana trip.
Oh yeah, that place. Every year, but you know what? I don't know.
Yeah, because sometimes it's nice not to have internet.
I
too.
need like
when you actually need a vacation.
But here's the cool thing about this: if you don't want internet, turn it off.
Yeah, right.
It's that easy.
And don't give the kids the.
And then nothing's going off. No phones, nothing else.
You know what they brought up before? I don't think we mentioned it on the air, but like you're on a road trip, and you got kids that are playing on the iPad or whatever.
Yeah.
And now you can just plug that thing in.
Dude, that's awesome.
And rock it, dude. Yeah, that's huge. So, I mean, so many applications. I appreciate that you guys value relationships and community, and that's, I think, a really driving factor here. And that's how we do our business, too, is it's all relational based. We're not, and it sounds you're exactly the same. We're not in it to make money. Obviously, we need to pay bills and feed the family, but the true gold is in the people that you meet and the connections that you make out there, and that's everything for us. And it sounds like it for you guys too. And I think that's a precursor to success, because if you're in it for any other reason, eventually it'll fade and go away.
If money is your driving force, then you're probably not the right reason.
Right.
You've got to have a passion about something other than just money.
That's not enough of a motivator, right? I show up to work every day. Like, our office is so freaking fun. I literally look forward to going to work every day.
We have 8 people in an office about this big.
Yeah.
And we just added another one the other day.
It's insanity.
We still just like cram because we're like, we want to be around
But
each
it's
other.
so damn fun. Like, I legitimately want to be there. And creating an environment like that for yourselves and your employees is everything. And that's how I think, you build something sustainable.
I love the fact that we've been able to build our dream jobs. I mean, I love going to work every single day. I look forward to work. And taking it a step further, giving those around us their dream jobs and empowering our team to grow into their roles and just all love coming to work. And we're working towards a common mission, which let's talk briefly about our mission. And it ties into what Andrew was saying. Our mission statement is, you're going to have to edit this out. I just forgot it as I said it.
Of course, you're on the spot.
Empowering God.
our mission is empowering God's people to explore through innovation and technology. And you know, we certainly have people within the organization that may or may not be aligned with our faith, but we make it very well known that that is our values, that is our mission, and that is why we wake up and do what we do. And if you want to be on the bus, you know where the bus is heading.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I love mission statements are so important. Like I said, just, you know, having fun at work too. I mean, it's funny. We just did our budget for this year, and we have a category called F around budget. And we're like, that's important for us.
You put me in charge of that one too, didn't you?
I did. Yes, I put you in charge of that.
Adding a couple zeros on the end.
And we set a significant amount aside to be like, hey, this is important for us to go out with our employees, go out with our team, to be able to spend time together, right? And do cool things, take people out to dinner, just have those bonding times. Because, man, that's, you know, coming from a job, I'm not sure what you did before this. You said mechanical engineer, but, you know, in law enforcement and everything else, the big problem when you left that job for both of us, and I'm sure for you, is you lose your team. And all of a sudden you find yourself in this world, even though you can be successful. Even when I did real estate for the first couple of years, I'm like, this sucks, dude. I'm by myself. It doesn't matter if I'm selling a bunch of homes. It's boring. I don't enjoy it. Now I have a whole team around me, and now it's fun. So having that team and creating that collaboration, man, if you guys can do that, you will be so successful.
Yeah. We need to, like, the big thing of when we're finding people to join our team, we need to make sure that what we're hiring them to do is a passion of theirs. I'm not going to hire you to, you know, if you're not, like, obviously you're in real estate and you're probably in sales, but if you're not passionate about sales, I'm not going to put you in a sales role.
Right.
I want you to enjoy doing what you're doing. I don't want you to have to, like, you know, hate, I got to get on this call again, a day after day. Like, you're not the right person for that role.
I'm not the right guy for that.
We've got to, you know, we are finding the, you know, the people that are passionate about what they do, and how do we empower them to do their job to their full potential.
And that's how we choose when to hire, is what are we working on that we're not passionate about? You know, we've taken this out of Dan Martell's book, Buy Back Your Time. And it's like, if it doesn't light you up, or you're not insanely good at it, it needs to get delegated or replaced. And so when we're building this team, it's not, well, we need to hire right now that it's in the budget. It's, let's look at what we're spending our time on. And if it doesn't align with what we're great at, or what lights us up in the morning, it needs to get replaced to somebody who is great at it and it lights them up.
That's a great way to look at it. Yeah. Where so I'm assuming you have a website. Where else can people find you guys?
We're on all social platforms. Star-Batt. There's a dash in there, 2 T's on the bat. Starbatt.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter.
Okay.
I guess X.
Yeah. We will we'll link that in the show notes. So if someone wants to buy one, they go to the website. Is that the easiest way to do it?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's fine. And I'll throw this out here. What do we call this these days?
North Idaho Experience.
North Idaho Experience.
TNIE, $100 off.
Yeah. Sweet.
We'll make
do
it
NIE.
NIE.
And $100 off your first Star-Batt.
That is
That's
super
freaking
cool.
rad. Thank you guys. That's really cool.
Appreciate having us.
Yeah.
So what's turnaround time right now? If somebody orders them, I know we're still working on the first batch and all that. What is turnaround time if somebody places an order today?
If you order today, it will ship end of April, early May.
Okay.
By June, we should be shipping next day.
Holy crap.
Perfect. That's a hell of a goal.
So
That's
if you
awesome.
order now or in June, it's going to be pretty much the same time.
Almost, yeah, and that's that, you know, that SBA route.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to afford, you know, to put 1,000 units on the shelf.
Yeah.
Because that's important to consumers, right? You
Well, I'll tell you what, 1,000 units sounds like a lot right now to you guys, but that could very easily get wiped out really quick.
Oh, yeah.
And all it takes is one more national emergency and that's gone. I mean, that could be 1,000 units. Yeah.
And that's why we're working with a contract manufacturer so that we can just have consistent production. Like,
Yeah.
you know, whatever it is, a certain amount per week, and then just ramp it up as needed. And so,
That's awesome.
But we need to, you know, fulfill all the back orders and then put some on the shelf so to get to that next day, and then just have our contract manufacturer continually pump out new products.
That is freaking awesome.
Oh, yeah. Really
Super
cool.
psyched.
I am looking forward to watching you guys grow this thing and just knowing that there's another North Idaho business that's thriving out there. So
And let us know, maybe future video coming, but I would love to come down and do a video at your operation and see what you guys are doing. That would be super cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
let
that'd be
Dave
awesome.
build one.
Oh, yeah. You don't want me
You're
to build one?
good.
Come
No,
on.
you're a sharp guy.
I just
You
took my
can
wife's
do it.
computer together. I can't even
I
put
can
it
do a
back together.
microwave. You've seen it.
No, you can take a microwave apart. You cannot, but he's not on your manufacturing team, is he?
Nah, he's not allowed down the shop.
All right, check it. Yeah,
That's
check
hilarious.
the screws.
Well, thank you guys. Alex, Andrew, appreciate you guys coming out. Star-Batt, STAR-BATT. The link will be in the show notes so you guys can find them and buy one because they're wicked cool. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks.
guys for having
Thanks,
us.
guys.
Yep.
Really appreciate it.